Senna bateu forte.
They'll have to red flag this. Terrible. Look, this is quite appalling. This is the worst start for a Grand Prix that I have ever seen in the whole of my life.
May 1st, 1994, lap 7. Ayrton Senna, the fastest man on Earth, loses control at 211 kilometers per hour and slams into a concrete wall. A piece of suspension pierces his helmet. He dies in front of millions watching live on TV. But Senna wasn't the first to die that weekend. And what happened next changed Formula One forever. The 1994 season started with a gamble that would cost lives. The FIA banned all electronic driver aids traction control, anti-lock braking, active suspension, everything that made these 900 horsepower monsters controllable was suddenly gone.
Stond er nog iets over de regels van volgend jaar. Dit wordt volgend jaar verboden. Het is actieve vering. Het team wat het beste voor elkaar heeft is het team van Williams. Het is er volgend jaar dus niet meer bij. En u ziet het inderdaad goed. Deze auto is niet dood, hij leeft.
Williams had dominated with active suspension for years. Now they had to redesign everything. Adrian Newey, the chief designer, later admitted the Williams FW16 was aerodynamically unstable. In archival footage, Senna told his team, "I have a very negative feeling about driving the car and driving it on the limit. The car has its own characteristics which I'm not fully confident in yet. It makes you a lot more tense and that stresses you."
When it happened, it was just, I mean, I can, the biggest memory of that is the bloody klaxons. When all the noise that all the spectators made with all these images of Ayrton sitting upright in the car, you're hoping desperately he's okay. What a waste. I mean, I think that was the biggest single emotion. What a waste of such an amazing person. Such a stupid accident. For me, the key thing was, you know, what part did I personally play in what happened? So that's the responsibility
Senna had even requested modifications to the steering column to fit better in the cramped cockpit. Williams engineers extended the 22mm steel tube by grafting in a narrower 18mm section, a modification that would later become central to a manslaughter investigation. Here's what most people don't know. Senna suspected several teams, including Benetton, were secretly using illegal traction control systems despite the ban. He believed some competitors were cheating with hidden technology. The stage was set for disaster, the darkest weekend in F1 history, Friday, April 29th, 1994. First practice session at Imola's San Marino Grand Prix. Rubens Barrichello hit a curb at 225 kilometers per hour, launching his Jordan into the air. He smashed into tyre barriers at 95 G-force while airborne, knocking him unconscious. His tongue blocked his airway. FIA Dr. Sid Watkins rushed to save Barrichello's life. When he regained consciousness, Senna was standing over him at the medical centre. Saturday brought something worse.
You've seen Rubens.
He's all right. He's all right. He's shocked, of course, but he's all right.
You don't
The show, yes.
Austrian rookie Roland Ratzenberger lost control at Villeneuve Corner at 314 kilometers per hour after his front wing failed. With no way to steer or brake, his Simtek hit a bare concrete wall with a force measured at 500 G, the highest ever recorded in F1 history. Ratzenberger died from 3 separate fatal injuries, a basilar skull fracture, blunt trauma and crushing force, all from the sheer enormity of impact. It was the first F1 death in 12 years. Senna visited the crash site. Witnesses said he collapsed on the floor of his motorhome in tears.
Ladies and gentlemen, the San Marino Grand Prix organiser has received a report from the Maggiore Hospital in Bologna that the driver of car number 32, NTV Simtech Ford, Roland Ratzenberger, succumbed to injuries sustained in the accident which took place at Imola Circuit during Saturday qualifying practice, April the 30th.
Dr. Sid Watkins found him crying and said, "Ayrton, you've been 3 times world champion. You're the fastest man in the world. Why don't you quit? I'll quit and we'll just go fishing." Senna's final words to Watkins were haunting. "Sid, there are certain things over which we have no control." That morning, during the driver's briefing, Senna, Gerhard Berger and Michael Schumacher agreed to reform the Grand Prix Drivers Association to push for safety improvements. Senna was nominated as director. He would never serve. Sunday, race day, lap 5. A start-line collision between Pedro Lamy and JJ Leto sent debris into the grandstands, injuring several spectators. The race restarted. Senna took the lead. Michael Schumacher sat in his shadow. Lap 7. Tamburello corner, a flat-out left-hander taken at over 190 miles per hour.
When Mr. Walkinshaw came up to me and said, "He's looking very bad." I thought, no, he's in coma, but coma doesn't mean anything bad. And I said, no, it looks not too good. And then somebody came to me later and said, "He's dead." And 1 minute later, and the next one came to me and said, "No, he's in coma." But there was so little information at this time that you didn't know what you should think about this, and I still didn't believe that he's going to be dead. I just couldn't think of that point. I just thought, yeah, no, he's going to be the champion. He maybe misses 1 or 2 races, and then he's coming back again. But the worst was really the 2 weeks after this. I mean, once I really had to accept that that he is dead.
Schumacher, running right behind, later said, "I saw that Senna's car was touching the track at the back quite a lot on the lap before. It was very nervous in that corner, and he nearly lost it. Then on the next time through, he did lose it. The car just touched the track with the rear skids, went a bit sideways, and then he just lost it." Senna's Williams slammed into the concrete barrier at 131 miles per hour. The impact flung his head into the headrest, fracturing his skull. Part of the suspension and upright assembly penetrated his helmet. BBC commentator Murray Walker called it the blackest day for Grand Prix racing that I can remember. Here's the conspiracy most people don't know. Some believe Senna may have been declared brain dead at the track, not at the hospital as officially stated, because Italian law prohibited death declarations at circuits due to criminal liability.
The biggest memory of that is the bloody klaxons. When all the noise all the spectators made.
We really should be seeing some medical attention coming quickly here to the Williams with Senna. His head is he's very still in that car.
With all these images of Ayrton sitting upright in the car. You're hoping desperately he's okay.
6 people were charged with manslaughter in connection with Senna's death. Frank Williams, Adrian Newey, Patrick Head, and 3 Italian officials. All were later acquitted. The race continued. Formula One restarted within 40 minutes of Senna's crash. Michael Schumacher won. The FIA acted with unprecedented speed. 2 races later, Spain. Front wing end plates were raised and restricted. Rear diffusers were shrunk by 50%. These changes reduced downforce by 15% instantly. 3 races later, Canada. Teams were forced to cut holes into engine covers and airboxes to reduce airflow, cutting horsepower. By July, Germany, the FIA mandated a 10mm wooden plank be installed under every car to control ride height. The plank couldn't wear more than 1mm during a race. Famously, Michael Schumacher was disqualified from winning the Belgian Grand Prix because his plank had worn 1.1mm, just 0.1mm over the limit. 1995 complete redesign. The rule changes were so extreme that 1994 cars couldn't be adapted. Every team had to build entirely new designs from scratch.